get right down to it, many Christians are tremendously uncomfortable with the whole idea of hell. We've got good reason to view talk of hell with skepticism because over the generations we Christians have experienced a tremendous amount of misuse of that idea. Countless demagogues and charlatans have used fear of damnation as a crude tool to keep folks in line. Countless preachers have spewed on about the rage of God from the pulpit, using what is really little more than theological terrorism to oppress anyone who has the audacity to think in new and creative ways. As Christians, we've grown justifiably tired of all of this Jonathan Edwards, hellfire and brimstone hoo-ha. We've had enough of it. We are supposed to be a community that's bound together by God's love. And if that is in fact the case, what's the rationale for having hell around at all? What's its justification? Why hell? I think much of the difficulty we have in understanding hell and wrath at all is that most of what we get comes to us from fundamentalism. For fundamentalists, hell it's a lake. It's fiery. The damned sit in a great lava jacuzzi all day, every day, for the rest of their eternity, and the pus and phlegm margaritas that Satan serves at the swim-up bar are both watered down and overpriced. This is a childish, picture book faith. Not childlike, mind you. Childish. It's not the expression of an adult Christianity. In a 12-year-old, it might be fine, although, frankly, I'd wonder where they got the idea about the margaritas. In an adult, however, it's not so fun. We have more serious questions that we have to answer. How do we reconcile love and justice? How can we claim that God is absolutely love and at the same time hold on to that idea that somehow there is justice in this world? It's not an easy thing to answer. One answer to this dilemma lies implicit in the writings of 20th century theologian Paul Tillich. Tillich defines love as our yearning to participate in another being, to truly know that other being, to share in their joys and share in their pains. Love is seeking yourself in another, reaching out across the boundaries that limit us. We human beings do this clumsily, imperfectly, if we do it at all. Love is our struggle against our separateness from one another, our struggle against all that divides us from one another. But while we struggle to make love real, God exists as love in its perfection. Love is God's very nature, and love is, therefore, the foundation and root of all existence. We're created in love, and to love we will return. When Christians profess a faith in a God who is love, we're professing faith in a love that will tear down the boundaries that divide us, in a love that allows us to truly be part of one another. Our loving God breaks down the barriers between God and humanity, tears down the walls that separate each and every one of us. God approaches us as a love that is inexorable, inescapable, a love that stands from before the dawn of time until after the end of all things. Christian mystic Thomas Merton described God's love in this way. Our God is a consuming fire, and if we by love become transformed into Him and burn as He burns, His fire will be our everlasting joy. But if we refuse His love and remain in the coldness of sin and opposition to Him and to other men, then will His fire, by our own choice rather than His, become our everlasting enemy, and love, instead of being our joy, will become our torment and our destruction. Gracious Lord, please turn off that monotonous music Oh, that's better. I think at the heart of it, the challenge that particularly Christians face is grasping that our teachings about hell, what we read in the Bible, much of which is very intense, is nonetheless metaphoric. Here we have language trying to express an eternal reality. And if it's going to do that, it can't do that really effectively. It's why we struggle to express what it means to have an eternity that is either an eternity of grace and peace or an eternity of what some would describe as torment. From the witness of Christian mysticism and Christian existentialism, which is rooted in the witness of the Bible, we understand hell and heaven not really to be separate things, but to be the same experience of God. We experience God, if we are loving, as one who opens us to how our love has affected our relationships with everyone around us. Our eternity is an unveiling of that to us, a deepening of our awareness of our place in God and our place in creation. But if we've lived our lives serving only ourselves, if we've lived our lives using other people as objects, not appreciating them as other beings and trying to reach out through God, through the Spirit to them, through love to them, then our eternity, the foundation on which we're building now, the foundation of which we're building now, will reflect our selfishness. There's nothing we do that will be hidden. None of the impacts we have on other people will be hidden from us. And so if we act selfishly, if we act serving only our own needs and harm those around us, the fruits of those actions will be the measure of our eternity. A life lived in hatred, in selfishness, is itself the foundation of an eternity that would be as hell. It's a difficult thing to express, again, because we're talking about a reality that is eternal. The Bible speaks of it in terms that we have to understand metaphorically, and even if we use the tools of philosophy, it's hard to understand. But I think in existentialism, in mysticism, as they express themselves through faithful Christians, we have a better grasp of what it means when we say hell. Them's my 2 cents. Hope you've enjoyed them. Ciao.